be recorded.
Okay, I'm just briefly going to go over some procedures for everyone that might not have attended this type of meeting. If you're wanting to participate in the meeting, you can download, go to meeting. This is meeting number 599-669-285. If you want to call in instead, you dial 1-571-317-3122 and enter the meeting number 599-669-285. When phoning in, please mute your phone. Any device that you're on, be it via video, phone, or phone, please mute your device while there's conversation unless you've been called on to speak. The chair will state when public comment will be received on any of the cases. When public comment is requested, it will be taken in the order of those that are attending via video. You would raise your hand and be called on by the chair. Then when those are all received, we would take anyone that's phoning in. You would unmute yourself, state your name, and we'll call you based on the names we receive. There's also the ability to use the chat bubble, which is in the upper right-hand corner. You can type in your comments. Those will be read during the public comment of your case. Please state which case you're commenting on. And you can also email comments to pc@oriontownship.org. Public comment will be taken via those means until the chair closes public comment on that case. If you're attending via video, we suggest you turn off your camera until you wish to speak to reduce the number of faces seen on the screen at one time. That's it. I turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate that, Ms. Gerling. And with that, 7 o'clock, we'll open the regular meeting of the Orion Township Planning Commission. If I could get a roll call vote, please.
Danaskas?
Here.
Reynolds, absent with notice. St. Henry? You're muted, Joe.
Sorry about that. Here.
Simon?
Here.
Walker?
Here.
Gross?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Well, thank you. Our next item is our minutes. Item number 3. We have 2 sets of minutes before us this evening, both from the May 6th meeting. The first set of minutes is the Planning Commission regular meeting minutes. And item 3B is the minutes from 5/6 again, and that's PC 2019-51 public hearing minutes. Any discussion on the minutes, or I'll entertain a motion on them?
Move to accept the minutes as presented. Support.
Motion and support on both sets of minutes. Any discussion? No comments, seeing none? All in favor, voice and raise your hand, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, thumbs down and a nay. All right, I think we're getting better at this. I think we got it. Thank you. The minutes are approved. Moving on to item number 4 is our agenda review and approval. Any discussion on the agenda, or I'll entertain a motion on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Agenda as presented. Any discussion? None. You can do a probably voice, I think, on this one too. All in favor, aye, raise your hand. Aye. All opposed, nay, thumbs down. All right, our agenda is approved. Leading us to item number 5, which is our public comment for any non-agenda items. As Ms. Gerling nicely outlined, we'll go ahead and go through first with those. Anyone on the video who would like to make a comment, anything's on the agenda, go ahead and raise your hand and state your name, or we see it on the board. Seeing none, anyone on the phone, if you have anything, please state your name. And then anyone on the chat box or via email, anything coming in, Ms. Gerling?
I have none on neither.
Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and close our brief public comment for the non-agenda items, taking us to item number 6, which is our consent agenda. No items before us tonight under our consent agenda, leading us to item number 7 under new business. And our first item is PC 2020-08, which is Lavender Ridge. And this is for their wetland approval. And this site is located on a vacant parcel southeast corner of Silverbell and Squirrel Roads in the parcel 0936-226-001. If the applicant's ready, please let me know who's going to give the overview and give us an overview of this request.
I'm preparing screen sharing. I just need one moment, please, Mr. Chair.
Sure, yeah, take your time. We'll go ahead and prepare the applicant. They have a presentation for us and walk us through this wetland request.
We're gonna have a great meeting.
Okay, we good?
Well,
Thanks, Mr. Chair. This is Lavender Ridge. We were before you a couple months ago for our PUD approval. We are now here requesting the wetland approval. We have submitted impact plans and a permit application to Eagle back in in March. And then in May, Eagle released the public notice. We have waited until now to get before you, just as we were waiting to have Eagle verify that they were comfortable or agreed to these wetland boundaries. This project was designed to try and minimize the wetland impacts. We do have that, especially very large wetland on the east side of the property. That wetland is wetland AB. It's approximately here and this little finger that comes up here. There's 2 temporary crossings that we're proposing. Those will be cut and cover and restored. There is 1 permanent crossing, which is this road crossing right here. We have also tried to minimize any impacts by this road crossing by providing retaining walls on both sides of it to lessen the fills in the wetlands from grading. This road is necessary as it provides a secondary access to this northern part of the development, which is necessary for fire protection for the site. This also provides an internal route to the clubhouse, which is located over here, so that residents on the south side don't have to necessarily go onto Squirrel Road to get to the clubhouse. There are 4 small wetland pockets located. This is wetland B, this is wetland C, wetland C, wetland D, wetland Z. Those up until the mid 2000s were actually land that was part of the farm on this property. Once the farming was done, at that time, it's likely when these little pockets converted to wetlands. There's also a wetland E over here. This is not regulated by Eagle. For our impacts to the wetland and the wetland setback, we have proposed multiple types of mitigation. First of all, for the regulated wetland fills, we are going to be purchasing some banked credits on an Eagle approved site and as approved by Eagle. And not only are we doing that, but we are going to be putting not only this wetland in a conservation easement, but also these 3 upland areas for a total of approximately 2 acres of conservation easement area. We do have some impacts to the wetland, the 25-foot wetland setback. Any impacts to the setback will be restored with a native seed mix. This will help filter any pollutants and help slow down any water draining into the wetlands. We are also proposing some additional native seed behind these 2 units here, 9 and 10, and also behind building 13 over here. We are proposing to drain these rear yards straight into the wetlands. Eagle tends to like this as it provides some water budget to that wetland. whereas most of the other drainage is going straight into the basin. But we are proposing to put some additional native seed back there, which again will help filter out any pollutants and slow some of that water down. We do have a few areas where we are having roads or corners of buildings in that 25-foot wetland setback. And besides restoring with the native seed mix, we are also planting a natural features hedge, which will consist of red twig dogwoods and red cedars. For the site, all stormwater collected in the storm system will be pre-treated with manufactured pre-treatment structures, and will go into these two basins and will be detained for the 100-year detention requirements, and also will have a restricted outlet to the wetlands. We believe the design reduces the amount of impacts to the wetlands, and the mitigation provided is consistent with the township ordinance and will not pollute, impair, or destroy the wetlands.
Wonderful. Thank you for the overview and the update on the project. Appreciate that. With that, we'll go ahead and turn over to our township professionals. I believe OHM have prepared a review of this wetland permit request.
Yes, we have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wonderful, Mr. Landis.
Our letter of May 15th outlines our review of the wetland permit application, which was also submitted to Eagle as the applicant indicated. The applicant gave a pretty nice outline of the proposal, and so I'm not going to go over that again in detail, but as indicated, there are several wetlands on site, the biggest of which is on the east side of the property. And there's some smaller pockets in terms of the site. The wetland impacts are very minimal. They did a really nice job of designing this to minimize those impacts. From a numbers standpoint, I believe the amount of impact to the Eagle regulated wetlands only amounts to 0.14 acres. And as indicated, they are proposing to mitigate that at a ratio of 1.5 to 1 by purchasing wetland credits in a wetland bank to be approved by Eagle. There is a small wetland E that's not regulated by Eagle. It's falls under the township's jurisdiction. That wetland is about 0.13 acres in size. There isn't any proposed mitigation shown, but as indicated, they are proposing pretty extensive use of native seed mix plantings behind the buildings on the east side, as well as those areas where some wetland buffer are impacted, as well as the numerous tree and shrub plantings along wetland B, which kind of bisects the site. So overall, very minimal impacts. A nice job of mitigating for those. And for the reasons outlined in our letter, it was our opinion that the application is in substantial compliance with the township's wetland protection ordinance.
Thank you. Appreciate that overview and finding. Go back to my packet. Does our planner have anything to add as well? I'm looking back to my report here. I didn't think so.
No comment.
Okay, and then I didn't think there was a fire. Was there a fire letter on this one, or only the next one? Trying to go back to my report.
Just
I didn't
wetland.
think so. Yeah. Okay. I didn't think so. Excellent. With that, I'll bring it back up to my fellow commissioners. See if you have any additional comments, questions for the applicant, or I'll take your thoughts and comments on the request. Kind of scanning here. Go ahead, Mr. Steimel.
it's kind of stated in the letters, but I just kind of want to bring it out. That center area that basically on your layout that you're showing right now, that's kind of remnants of an old creek, you know, that still does kind of collect water. And I'm pretty sure your thing says that road, you're adding all that extra stuff. I just wanted to point out to the public that, yeah, that still lets water flow through there in big rain events. And the way you're doing the stuff under the road with the retaining walls and stuff, it should not block that. You know, if you just looked at it like this, you might think, oh, it's going to block that. It could cause a problem, but you're not doing that. You're taking extra special care to make sure that that road doesn't block that up. Mr. Landis, maybe can confirm that.
Yeah, that's true, John.
Yeah.
I believe there is a cross culvert underneath the road to
There
handle any
Right.
drainage that will come to that area. Yes.
Like I said, most of the time it just looks like some funky little hill or valley or something, but there are times in the rain event that does actually fill up again and it drains from the west back this way. So I'm glad we're not going to dam it up. So.
Mm-hmm. Good thoughts and things to highlight there. I was looking at as well. I think they did a nice job of kind of circulation of the site and mitigating what's there.
Yep.
Any other further thoughts, comments, questions from my fellow commissioners on this one? Pretty straightforward, I guess, given our professionals' reviews and what they've been able to do here, Eagle signing off and others. So I don't see any issues with it. I think it's an enhancement. I think it's a nice use and engineering of what's there. So I don't see any problems with it. Any other comments, or I'll entertain a motion? Oh, sorry, Mr. Simon.
No, I was going to do a motion, if that's all right.
Oh, thank you.
I move the planning commission approves the wetland permit for PC 2020-08, which is Lavender Ridge, located on unaddressed parcel 09-36226-001 for plans date stamp May 5th, 2020. This approval is based on the following findings of fact. Let me get my notes called up here. The proposed minor impacts to the wetlands will not have a long-term negative effect on the operating of the wetland. The proposed filling is being properly mitigated. There's very little filling, but what there is properly mitigated. This crossing, when where we have these things, is needed as part of this development. The proposed land use allows it. So again, it ends up with minor impacts. And basically, it's all the requirements of wetland have been met. And that's why I'm recommending that we approve this wetlands permit.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you. We have a motion and support. Further discussion from my fellow commissioners on the motion? Seeing none. Oh, Mr. Steinle.
I wanted to thank the applicant. They did a good job, very thorough, and thanks for working with us. You know, it's one of the things that are unique about Orion Township, and it's glad you're doing your best to keep these things in good shape, and especially in this area. They went around it wasn't that long ago. And then Justin, you remember, we had quite a bit of rain event. And we actually had a river going over Squirrel Road, at that time. And so we want to keep track of that around here in this area. So the other thing is we're not disturbing that stuff the crossing under Silver Bell too, because you guys have kept that wetlands there. So I'm glad about that. That could back up a lot of stuff. So, there is a lot of places just around your development here. So thank you for what you did and your thoroughness and, like I say, minimizing those impacts. It's nice to see.
Thank you, Mr. Steinle. I echo those comments. Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and, since we do have a motion on the floor on this item, take action on, we'll go ahead and open up to public comments. Anyone on video, go ahead and raise your hand and state your name. If you have any comments. Seeing none, anyone on the phone, please state your name for public comment on the motion. Seeing none, see anything coming in on the chat or the emails, Ms. Gerlin?
Correct.
Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and,
Was Matt trying to talk? I thought I saw Matt trying to talk, but he was muted.
Can someone else? All right. With that, we'll make it official. This one asks for a roll call, please.
Walker,
Yes.
St. Henry,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Gross,
Yes.
Anastas.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you again to the applicant. Appreciate your diligence and everyone on this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks much.
Going back into our regular agenda leads us to item number 7B, which is PC 2020-12. It's Baldwin Square Site Plan Modification for a Road. This site's located at 4709 Clubhouse Drive, Sidwell number 0932376-003. I don't know if there'll be a presentation on this one. Obviously, we had materials in our packet, but Ms. Grilling, I don't know if you want to share the screen, and then if and when the applicant's ready, go ahead and give us an overview of this modification for the road on the plans.
I can handle that, Tammy, if there's no applicant.
Oh, is there none on this one?
I'm here. I was just waiting for my share to come up.
Oh, that's right. I thought. Yeah, that's right. Excellent.
Hi. Carol Thurber from Noack and Kraus. The applicant is seeking a drive to Jordan Road. The previous site plan that was approved, that is up on the screen right now, was approved in April of 2015. At that time, the access to Jordan Road was cumbersome and not really able to be achieved due to some extreme slopes. With the development of the Breckenridge sub adjacent to this, now with the paving of Jordan Road, it's feasible to have another exit entrance from Jordan Road. So this was the previous approved site plan. There was a large turnaround area to accommodate fire safety. That also necessitated the construction of two very large retaining walls. With the proposed revision, we're able to add some additional guest parking, which has proved itself to be necessary on the site, as well as eliminate some of the extreme grades and retaining walls, as well as providing yet another method of ingress and egress to the site for fire safety and for the resident convenience. I don't know if the developer is also on the call, if he has anything to add. Other than that, I will entertain any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you as always for your overview of your request here. Pretty straightforward, but thanks for giving the history and where we're sitting and what the request is for. With that, we'll go ahead and go to our outside consultants here, keeping with, I guess we'll go with our engineer first. If Mr. Landis, if you want to give us an overview of your findings on the modification.
I certainly can. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our letter was dated May 27th, 2020. And again, gives an overview of the applicant's request to add an additional access out onto Jordan Road. The applicant's going to have to make a few minor modifications to the plan as it sits today, just to make this work. One of which will be lowering the existing water main along Jordan Road in the vicinity of this approach, just to maintain proper cover for frost protection. Really no impacts to stormwater. Paving and grading, the applicant indicated they're able to eliminate the previously approved large eyebrow and add in some guest parking, and also eliminate all the massive retaining walls that had yet to be built out there. It's been reduced down to just a small retaining wall behind that easterly building. There's a need to just add in another landing and a ramp just to keep the pathway along Jordan in ADA compliance. But it's a very minor thing that we can handle administratively or at engineering. Short of that, pretty straightforward, and we felt the plan was in compliance with township ordinances and engineering standards. And we just asked that the landing be incorporated and also that engineering plans be submitted following site plan approval.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate the summary of your findings there. With that, we'll go ahead and turn over to, let's see what's next on there. We'll just go over to our planner. Eric, if you want to give us an overview of your findings on the site.
Sure. I'm just going to point out two issues we're asking for consideration tonight. The first is the minimum parking standards. So that's review number 5, board book page 97. As you may be aware, the current BIS standards do not specify minimum parking requirements for residential uses. So we're recommending that a parking summary table be added to the final site plan based on the numbers in the in-progress BIS district amendment. This will be helpful for staff in the future. Say 10 years from now, they want to amend the site or change some things with the parking or the layout, to have those numbers on the site plan being considered now would be helpful for tracking purposes. And the second issue is on the next page, item number 7. The zoning ordinance states that interior access roads having connections with Jordan Road shall be provided with entry area improvements, including landscaping and masonry knee walls. Masonry knee walls are not indicated along Jordan Road, the previously approved or proposed site plan. This is due to the original site plan being approved in 2015, which was prior to these standards being added to the BIS district in 2017. So given the scope of changes and the driveway or access road connection to Jordan being a new one, not on the current approved plan, we're asking the Planning Commission to determine if a knee wall should be provided for this new connection to Jordan Road. We're noting that doing so may provide an inconsistent streetscape frontage, as the two entrances to the west do not have the knee wall present. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate the overview of your findings and your also thorough report. We also received a letter from the fire marshal, who has no comments and doesn't see any issues at this time. Same with the Water Resource Commission, no comments, really noteworthy. With that, I'll take it up to my fellow commissioners. Thoughts, comments, questions for the applicant, or any thoughts on the knee wall or other things we've heard so far? Go back so I can see everyone here. You want to start us off? Sure, Mr. St. Henry, and then Mr. Simon.
So I just want to make sure I understand this. So in 2015, when the site plan was originally approved, the original entrances did not have to have landscaping or knee walls because it wasn't part of the ordinance. But now, a few years later, with the new entrance and the ordinance change, we need, we're requesting landscaping and knee walls, at least on that entrance. Is that correct?
We're not requesting it. We're just pointing out that with a project of this size and with the change that they're proposing being so small, we try to review just the scope of the amendment. And so with there not being an access road previously approved in that location,
right,
we're considering that a new improvement. So we're looking at just that standard as it relates to that area for your consideration. As the only item that potentially relates to what they're requesting. That's a new standard.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Steinle?
In my opinion, that on this one, it would actually look kind of out of place if we put that standard on there. I think as long as it's consistent now with the other entrances to this development, and it'd probably be better that it remains that way, rather than adding this knee wall and stuff like that. They're gonna have some stuff around there, but I don't think adding a big knee wall and landscaping is really required for this particular entrance.
Thank you. I concur. I'm glad noted. Good looking at standard and so forth, but given how the other 2/3 of developments rounded out, I think it would maybe look a little odd. Plus the farthest east, so what have you, or a little inconsistent overall. Other further thoughts, comments, or questions for the applicant or?
Try to make a motion if it's ready.
Sure, I'll entertain one.
I move that the Planning Commission grants site plan approval for PC 2020-12 Baldwin Square amended site plan located at 4709 Clubhouse Drive on Sidwell parcel 0932-376-003 for the plan state stamped received May the 27th of 2020, based upon the fact that this represents a reconfiguration of the Eastern Drive with a connection to Jordan Road, which assists in the overall circulation of the development and also provides additional fire access to the site. Request that the final site plan include the parking calculations on the site plan to be consistent with the ordinance.
Support.
Thank you. A motion and support. Further discussion on the motion from my fellow commissioners? I think we captured everything, the very minor notes on the plans. I think we'll get all that during, but we'll make sure. Ms. Gerling, anything to add or make sure needed in the motion?
I wasn't sure if there was anything in OHM's review that needed to be there. Mark, was there anything? I noticed you had a couple comments.
Yeah, is that good? Sorry, go ahead.
We can address those at engineering. But that'd be fine.
Okay.
Very minor. I don't see a need to resubmit the site plan for that, but thank you.
Wonderful. If everyone's good with it, then wonderful. Aesthetically, I think it looks better, more cohesive, and I think it's a win-win all around. And appreciate everyone's work on it. Any other comments on the motion or anything? Seeing none, we will open it up now that we have a motion on this action item. We'll go ahead. Those in video, anyone like to make a comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none. Those on phone, if you please state your name. If you'd like to make a comment on the motion. And anyone wishing to email or chat box, we'll see if there's anything there. Don't see anything. Ms. Gerling, anything?
Nope, there's nothing.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and get a roll call on the motion.
Gross?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Steinle?
Yes.
St. Henry?
Yes.
Danaskis?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Look forward to the revisions there. Thank you, everyone, for your work on this one. All right, we'll round out the meeting here then. Taking us back to the regular agenda. We are keeping with the agenda rather. Item number 8 is unfinished business. We have no items under unfinished business this evening. Number 9 is public comment. Any member of the public wish to make a comment? Now's the time. We'll go ahead and ask anyone on video first. Raise your hand if you want to make a public comment. Seeing none, anyone on the phone, if you want to make a public comment, please state your name. Hearing none, we'll see if anyone wrote in via chat box or email for any public comments tonight. Ms. Gerling, anything?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. With that, then we'll go ahead and close the public comment section. Item number 10 is our communications. I didn't see any extra communications or anything in the packet. Leading us to item number 11, which is our planner's report. And tonight we have item number 11A, which is on renewable energy in the state of Michigan.
Actually, I put that on the agenda. I added that as being planners report / education.
Okay.
The planners reports are educational, but if he doesn't have something, I try to find something to supplement. So there's always the opportunity to learn. Really no discussion on this. It came through. I had permission to distribute this from the Planning and Zoning News. I know we already have something in our ordinance on wind energy, but we really don't have anything on solar. So I found it's a pretty long article, but there are some subsections that get primarily into the solar. So I just thought it was very interesting for everyone's reading. And so I passed it on. No other communication needed.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for the quick summary nonetheless and for sharing. I always appreciate that, and could be timely too, with summer coming, and who knows when we look at the solar side. So thank you. All right, item number 12 then, committee reports. I don't see any. Item number 13, future public hearings. Ms. Gerling, do you have any on the docket coming up? Seeing none? No.
Nope.
Okay, let's see, chairman's comments. Thank you everyone as always for your professionalism and everything you do and making time, and look forward to seeing everyone in person here soon. With that, I'll turn over to my fellow commissioners. I'll just start on the screen here. Mr. Gross, any comments this evening?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Walker, any comments this evening?
Just briefly, I'd like to thank Ms. Gerling and Mr. Daskus for running a very efficient meeting tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Simon.
Sorry to see Judy had to go. I don't know what Don said to her last meeting, but I guess we'll find out later. I suppose if I had to sit next to Don all the time and listen to heavy sighs and rolling eyes, that I might.
Can I make a comment now again or no?
You missed it. I already had a chance. Sorry.
And with that, with this being home so much, I've actually had time. I've been saving up a lot of my planning and zoning magazines and stuff like that, and I've been reading through them, and even some of them are a little old, but I just never had time to do a lot of reading, and I've caught up on a lot of that reading. So I still appreciate the fact we get that stuff. It is good to look at. There was an old one that we used to get that I found to be the most beneficial for the planning commissioners myself. And it was just like a little magazine about lawsuits related to zoning and stuff. And it was very interesting to see, kind of, there was a little summation of what's going on and okay, why did it turn into a lawsuit and then what was decided. It was very informative, I thought. Kind of taught me more the ins and outs of planning and zoning that way. I don't know if that's still around, but maybe the future people might like to see that,
I have no idea where that went. I remember it too, John.
That was really good, You could go to a lot of seminars and not learn as much as you learn in that little magazine every couple months. I think it came out every other month or so. Other than that, hopefully we'll be not too much longer like this. I know Chris was saying something at our Monday meeting that it looks like we may be going back to live meetings in July. He's shooting for July. So we finish off this month and hopefully we'll be back. The only difference is we'll be at the Orion Center because the boardroom downstairs is being used for other purposes. So we're going to be moved for our meetings over to the Orion Center, which isn't bad. It's a nice place. So I think they're still in the process of moving things over there. So hopefully we'll be back together soon. Anyway, with that, thanks again, Tammy, for everything. You too, Justin. Nice and efficient, and go on from there. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate the insight as well. Thank you for the comments always. Mr. St. Henry, any comments this evening?
No comments other than I'm really looking forward to getting back together with folks every couple weeks And we're starting to head back to work now on a staggered schedule, and I am pretty much done working at home. I've had it. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Gerling, anything to round us out?
Thank you. Just real quick, as Mr. Steimel said, Ms. Ryan had to resign. And we did on Monday night appoint a new planning commission member, and it is Kim Urbanowski. But with the short distance between Monday and Wednesday, she wasn't able to attend the first one. We got to get her sworn in and all of that. So she should be up and running at our next meeting. I thought I had one other thing. Oh, and this evening is Mr. St. Henry's birthday. A little birdie told me. So everybody wish Mr. St. Henry a happy birthday. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Darn, we could have queued up some like music and some memes and stuff. Next time we'll get them.
I would have brought a cake.
Well, we can
Eat in front of us. That'd be good.
we can do some social media. Have a social media drink somewhere. If you want to
There we go. There we go. We have a real one here soon. We'll celebrate. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. All in favor, say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All opposed, nay. All right. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you, everyone.